waiting.
Yeah. What in the world? Oh. It was telling me that this is for certain audiences. Am I that certain audience? I don't know. Anyway.
It'll be a surprise. We'll find out.
Yeah. Everything's fine. So, this is session 23 of Together Among the Stars, and I am Rick. I'm the Game Master for the Hammer of the Gods podcast, and I guess it's weird because on Discord today you're below me, but on stream you're that way.
Yep.
Somewhere.
Yep.
And see, you're mirrored
Something
for
like
me.
that.
So I'll just point the wrong way. You're just in some direction.
As one always is.
Yeah. And so this isn't your first time on this stream, but if you want to tell us where you can find us and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah. You guys can find me at Elissa, so ELISSA, B_illustrations on Instagram, and I think that's pretty much it. Multidisciplinary artist hailing from Montreal, Ontario. So.
And here as often as you can be.
Yeah, also that. So
yeah. Whichever stream.
Among the stars.
So, before we get started, I've got some announcements, as always. Our sponsor for tonight is Canadian Dice. Go to canadiandice.ca, use the code THEVACTAIR, all one word, at checkout for 10% off your order. And this week, Maggie's pick of the week is yellow/orange glow dice, because Ryan sucks at naming stuff. They're really Atomic Mango, which is accurate. Ryan, you gotta work on the names, buddy.
And I super want to see those under UV light. I think they'd be really cool. Yep.
Ooh. If you don't have them, Ryan, and I realize you're probably not watching right now, but just word of mouth, make some UV reactive dice. That'd be cool.
Please.
Second announcement is the merch store. I did not wear my Vactair merch today, but you can get awesome shirts and stickers and all kinds of stuff. I don't even know. I should probably figure out what all the options are, because that would be useful information. And the last announcement. What was that?
Toques too, I think. Because Affy's always wearing a Vactair toque.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't keep track. As Artemis always says, I just work here. The last announcement is this is the last week you can sign up for the DM, GM, Storyteller, what have you, various titles for Spooktober. Artemis will be building the schedule and releasing the list of games on the 21st. It is very soon. And then, of course, our schedule. So tomorrow, Sunday, Affy and Artemis are over on DM Jeremy's channel for Legacy of Fire at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Monday is Mistwalkers at 8:30 p.m. back here. No Wasteland Saga this week because Chair's away. Thursday is A Song of Crystal and Shadow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And Friday is Fixies 5, also at 8:30 p.m., also Eastern. All right. So, Melissa, would you do me the honors of rolling our first roll of the day?
I will do that. 3.
Okay, so once again, you get to make up a game. What kind of game does Borealis come up with during a long stretch of empty space? What are the rules like, and how does Reggie win?
Okay, so Borealis pulls out a little kind of spherical thing. They pop it down on the table and they click a button, and up pops a 3D kind of laser cube with different levels in it, and they pull glowing red stones out of their pocket and some glowing green ones and hand you the glowing green ones, and start to place them in different places. It's like a 3D version of tic-tac-toe, except then Reggie comes in and eats a bunch of them and the game is over. So
yeah, I mean, that's usually how games end on the Griffin, so everything's fine. And since you have played this before, bye, Arlie. See you later. She stopped to sniff me on the way. She's like, oh, I guess I could stay. Since you've played this before, normally I would have kind of set it up so that I would be the first to roll for discovery, just to kind of introduce. But I'm gonna see how many cards we're gonna draw, and then I'll let you roll for discovery. So we've got 3 for this first planet, and whenever you're ready, we'll get started on some discoveries. Harley, why are you eating your hair? That's gross.
The mysteries.
Yeah.
Okay, do I need to roll something?
Oh, yeah. If you would clear D for the discovery.
Okay, yeah. 5.
5. Okay, so we are starting off night crew. So as we are resting, we discover the Queen of Spades. So let's see. Queen is in deep water. Excuse me. And spades are natural phenomena. So, you know, crystals, lightning, mirages, clouds. I guess not really clouds underwater, but, you know, something along those non-plant, non-living, in theory.
Okay. So as we're and we're out of the ship at this point, right?
That's debatable. I mean, we're in deep water, so sometimes we take the... Oh, shit. I came up with a name for the smaller ship, and I've totally lost it.
Like a submersible or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a
okay.
name.
Whatever that thing is, we're exploring at night, and we can see all kinds of crystalline coral structures with bioluminescent things darting out of them that are clearly living in them, catching things from the sea that we are in. And so you can kind of see through them. Parts of them are glowing because of these things that are hiding, but only kind of come out to trap food. It's like a very translucent kind of coral forest.
So is this like coral anemone combination, or is it like...
Yeah, but it's like separate things. So
the
coral are almost crystalline structures, and then there are actual things that are living in them, but the coral itself is inanimate. Just
I was just trying to figure out if it was like a, like, you know, anemones are kind of not mobile.
But these
so I didn't
things
know if that was like
from tube to tube, whatever they are, they just happen to be living in this structure. So
interesting. Space eels, probably.
As yes.
I also got a 5 on my examination. So how this feature changes in some way. I'm gonna say that as these space eels, underwater space eels, I should clarify, as they like dart in and out, it seems to almost like the thermal aspect of it, like the warmth of their body seems to change the coral and crystalline color. I don't... what color were you picturing?
Clear, just translucent.
Okay. Yeah, I would say as like they pass close by, it becomes like a milky white, but just briefly. Like once they kind of get far enough away, it seems to dissipate back to that clear.
Do we understand why it does that? Like, is it apparent? Is there something they're giving off?
I think Breckett would just say, like, well, it could be their body heat, and he like switches over to like thermal. I'm like, oh no, it's all cold. It's all like the same, roughly the same temperature, and he's like switching through on the like visualizer of the submersible, and it seems like they give off some sort of like electromagnetic field.
Interesting.
Like, oh, well, that's different.
Pretty neat, Ranger Breckett.
Well, you know, I just figured out how to use these settings, so figured I might as well do something with them, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you know, when you just like push buttons randomly, eventually you figure out how to do stuff. It just takes a while.
Or blow things up, one of those two.
Not yet. Not so far.
Fair.
I mean, you know, that's usually Reggie's job.
Not a surprise.
Yeah, you know, he's just like a little chaos bean, and we love him. And now we also love Steve.
Who is Steve? I don't think Steve was here the last time I was here.
Oh, you haven't met Steve? I mean, you've been just kind of hanging out on the ship this whole time, so like I figured you would in Steve.
Must not have crossed paths.
Yeah, Steve's the new dinosaur.
Oh, how did I miss him?
Well, you know, Reggie is kind of an attention whore, so.
True. He did just game pieces. I remember.
Yeah, Steve was there, like behind Reggie the whole time.
Blending into the shadows.
Actually, you know what? Because we established last time that Steve, because Steve is like a baby T-Rex, basically. Yes, Reggie and Steve are the new Bill and Ted. Absolutely.
Amazing.
So Steve is like a baby T-Rex, basically, but with like the spines of the Stegosaurus. So kind of like a little Godzilla, but you know, not for legal reasons. And then has kind of like the protruding bone-like spikes on the end of his tail. Mm-hmm. But we learned that his species, like whenever they're young, can use their tails sort of like possums do, and that the end of their tail is like Velcro. So it wasn't that he was behind Reggie; he was just like Velcroed underneath Reggie.
As one does. Yeah.
Well, if one is Steve, yes.
And you're not concerned about him poking holes in the ship with that tail?
Oh no! I mean, it's not that sharp.
Fair enough.
And then Breckett like realizes that Steve is Velcroed to the back of his suit again. Yeah. That's actually how he ended up coming with us. Is he like Velcroed onto Breckett without him realizing? So good time. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so let's see what our next discovery is. Got a 3. Oh, we've got the 3 of spades.
Those are such cool cards.
Thanks. They're actually from Walmart, believe it or not.
Nice find.
I got them for a Deadlands game because it's like a Wild West TTRPG, and I needed some playing cards, and they actually work way better for this than for Deadlands. So, our next discovery come upon suddenly, and 3 is by a gentle river. Spades are natural phenomena, so we, you know, come back up to the surface. Kind of leads like the water. You know, we make our way to this gentle river, and I'm gonna say the natural phenomena that we discover is there are like stacks of stones, but they seemingly defy physics because they'll be like really, really small stones at the bottom, and then they get bigger and wider. And Breckett goes over and he's like very, very carefully not touching it, but getting really close. And I was like, they don't seem to move like in the wind or anything, or this is bizarre.
I wonder if the gravitational field here is different somehow.
Breckett's like jumping up and down, and it seems like, well,
or perhaps it's magnetic.
I mean, it's not taking anything from me. Like, there's nothing magnetic on me that's being attracted to it.
Fair.
But Breckett does comment on the fact that it does seem like when I jump, I'm being held down a little bit more, but I don't know that that would keep it from popping over.
It's a mystery.
I'm a little bit afraid to touch it though, because I don't know what it is.
Little tail sneaks out from around your back from your Velcroed friend and whacks it.
Oh, thanks, Steve. Good thing it didn't fall over, because that would have been possibly really bad. Yeah, if you want to roll your examination, we'll see what else we find out. Okay. So you get to tell us how this feature changes in some way. So these are like pretty ordinary looking stones. They're not especially colorful. They're like brownish, grayish.
So on the next jump that Breckett makes, suddenly we see the stones. We hear noise, tunk, 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 and they all separate a little bit, and then they come back together and land perfectly exactly how they were and stop moving.
Did I do that?
I kind of feel like you might have. It wasn't doing that before you jumped.
Yeah, Breckett's going to jump like
something
3 times in a row.
The same thing reproduces itself each time.
That's weird. And then he's just going to like reach around and grab Steve and just like, you know, like you do with a baby, he's just going to like toss him up in the air. Yeah.
Land well, my friend.
I'm going to catch him.
Are you though?
Like as we're having that discussion, Breckett's like looking at you, not at
Brackett's head.
So what happens whenever he tosses Steve up? Anything?
The top stone takes off in tandem with Steve.
Interesting. Ooh, I do like Artemis's suggestion that Steve is just on Rory's drone. So like Breckett throws him up and he like velcros onto the drone. So you just see him hanging like possum style by his tail.
Blocks is up there.
But like this drone is now listing really badly. Like it's just all over the place. Like, hey Rory, I think your drone's drunk, or maybe Steve is just a little heavy for that. Maybe we need to upgrade the drone.
We need something more heavy duty to hold Steve.
Yeah, it's not rated for Steve. Yeah,
that's
this
really
is weird.
Have you seen anything like this before?
No, I have no idea what this is all about.
It's a really unusual phenomenon.
Breckett's just going to be like, let's see what happens if we both jump at the same time.
Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2.
Breckett jumps on 1.
And we land. All of the rock piles go up. All of the rock piles come back down, except for the rock that seems to be now attached in some way to Steve.
Steve just like reached out and grabbed it and latched it on. No, this isn't Reggie. Steve just likes to cling on to stuff.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, that was really weird.
I hope nothing bad happens with that rock that Steve's got, because, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Let's discover some more. Yeah.
Come on down, Steve.
So if you want to roll us another d6, we'll see what Borealis discovers.
1 this time.
Ooh, okay. Just like those little sticky hands you get from toy vending machines. Absolutely. We didn't notice this at first, but yeah, his species like can kind of just fling their hands. They look normal. Like they're little T-Rex. Yeah, they're like little T-Rex arms, but then like he just flings them and they stretch out super long. Yeah.
It's how their species move from one place to another. Also, if somebody walks by them, they're like burrs and they just stick on and end up in a new spot that they can take over.
Amazing. So a 1 means we're gonna have to put in some work, and we're apparently just not gonna get anything but natural phenomena today because we've got the 2 of spades.
All right.
So 2 is Under the Light of the Moon.
Ooh.
So we put in some work. We leave the river and the ocean.
Okay.
But we find some kind of natural feature under the light of the moon.
Okay. So we trek across some plains, leaving the ship behind, but we've got one of our pods that follows us in case we need to get back quickly. And of course we have Steve.
Of course.
Who's ahead of us on the drone, amazingly, although the drone is still like not looking like it's going to stay up that much longer.
Yeah.
Battery running out. Is Steve too heavy? We don't know.
It's starting to smoke a little bit, actually.
Sputtering going on one side. Listing a bit.
Some sparks. This is fine.
It's all good. We're not going to catch anything on fire. It's okay.
Yeah.
So we trek across these plains. There are, interestingly, some clearly cut paths as we go. We don't know what made them, but they cross each other. Maybe it's big space rabbits. We're not sure. And we get to a hillside where there are strange finger-like but large protrusions. They look almost like mushrooms, but not quite, because when we touch them, they're really hard like rock. So, and there's a lot of them, like in different outcroppings in weird ways. They're purple.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
We couldn't miss them. Yep.
But somehow we did for a while.
Somehow we did for a while, until we got to this hillside, because that's what they're coming out of.
Let's see. Got a 5, so how it changes in some way. I'm gonna say, like, as we're kind of looking at them, trying to figure out what they are, all of these protrusions just suddenly sink underground.
Done.
Yep, exactly. Okay.
So, what do you think set those off? This is a very strange planet.
Yeah, this planet's a little wonky.
Do you think it's vibrations for all of these things?
Yeah, the vibes are off.
Yeah. It's a lot like an interactive art installation.
That's actually what this planet's been all.
We're actually in a gallery.
You know, that tracks.
Yep. Yeah.
It's definitely not the first time that Breckett has accidentally wandered into the middle of a gallery and, like, been part of an art exhibition unknowingly.
Fair. Last time it was terrifying amoeba art. This time, strange stones.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a bad day. Very bad day. All right. I'll have you roll me another d6 and we'll move on to our next planet.
3.
3. All right. So these are just 3-card planets. On the way there, let's see what we do in the meantime. I got a 4, and that is another game. I'm gonna say this time we are, like, using Steve as, like, a ball, basically, because he does ball himself up pretty well, and so, like, we're just trying to, since the end of his tail is like Velcro, we've just, like, made it into a little hoop, and we're just trying to use him as, like, a combination of, like, a ball and a hoop. So it's almost like the Skippets from way back in the day, but we're trying to get the little ring. We're trying to get that around Reggie.
Isn't Reggie pretty big?
I mean,
though?
Of course, Reggie. He's not that big. I mean, he's
okay.
Small enough he can fit on the ship and, like, move around.
There.
And eat all our stuff. So, like, he's, like, maybe the size of a large dog.
Oh, okay. Fair. Yeah, so that totally works. Okay, cool.
I mean, he's got a long neck, so there's that, but...
Yeah. Are we successful in catching him, or is he too fast for us?
Well, it's not so much that we're trying to catch him. We're just trying to like get the hoop of Steve's tail around him.
Okay.
Since he's got that long neck, we're just trying to like do like a ring toss thing.
There.
I would say, yeah, we each like Steve's kind of heavy for his size, but we do manage to eventually get there. Get a couple times, but Reggie most of the time doesn't get got, so he still wins in the end.
Sneaks off happily to eat some more food. The end.
It's Steve's food, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Steve still eats, but like only after Reggie's eaten 12 different times.
There's always a pecking order, especially among dinos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll have you roll for our first discovery on this new planet.
6.
6. All right. So once again, starting off with the night crew, and once again, we've got spades. We've got the Jack of Spades.
A lot of spades.
So
okay.
I believe that Jack is in the desert. Yeah, in the desert.
Okay. So we're just like, it's just nighttime and we're in on this planet, right?
Yep.
Okay. Right. So we wander, and what are we describing again? Sorry, Rick.
Natural phenomenon.
Okay. So we wander out of the ship, and we can see the light of 3 moons glinting off of the sand. And as we watch, the sand starts forming fascinating geometric patterns that come into something very much like a crop circle, and then dissipate as quickly and change into something else. It's not
That's
apparent
bizarre.
what's causing it. Yeah, I've never seen something like this before. This is very unusual. It's beautiful, but strange.
Yeah, normally just make like space sticks.
Like you do.
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Also, I like the concept of we wandered off the ship. So like we didn't even mean to leave the ship, but we realized hey, we're not on the ship.
Randomly were called out by the Fae on that particular planet, and they were never seen again.
Well, I mean, Breckett survived being launched into space on a strange ship, so that he had no control over. I think he'll be fine.
All right, he's still around.
Totally had nothing to do with Rory having like a tracking device on him. Nothing like that.
Good job, Rory. I was looking out for everybody's safety.
Yeah.
Rick Mom bot.
Totally. Totally what it was. Let's see. Got a 4, so I add a detail I notice about the feature. I'm gonna say that what Breckett notices is there are like rocks, but they're like the size of peas. They're really just like tiny rocks. That seem to be the things that are moving and making these shapes.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, the vibes are
really strange. Still, Breckett. We should get back to the ship before we get twirled up in one of these strange. Yeah.
It's probably fine. Breckett says, and then he like starts moving, not of his own volition, as like there's little pebbles beneath him.
Standing on one.
Yeah. Like okay, well, I guess I'm a really tiny Roombas. Yeah, so let's see what our next discovery is. Ooh, we got a 1. We've got the Ace of Diamonds. We actually get something other than natural phenomena.
Yay.
So Ace is in a field taller than you, and diamonds are living beings. I'm gonna say that this planet, while there was some empty space, that we played some games between the different solar systems, this planet isn't, or this solar system that this planet's in is not very far from the last one. And we spot, like, behind one of these sand dunes, some little creature. Breckett's just like, hey, just don't make it obvious, but like, look over there.
Borealis whips out some binoculars. Where?
Subtle, very subtle. Why do I feel like the Benny Hill theme is constantly playing?
What's this?
The Benny Hill theme is just constantly playing anywhere that Breckett is.
Yeah.
I can't figure out how to turn it off. It's just like that song always
like
going. So yeah,
Subtlest Space Ranger ever.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yep.
Oh my god, that makes sense. That is what Rory plays through the drone, just 24/7.
It's all become clear
especially now that the drone is slightly busted. It's like, in horror movies where the music's like kind of off, like it's a little bit off key. So it's like the Benny Hill theme, but really spooky.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm having a great time here. But yeah, as Borealis whips out these binoculars very subtly, you see this, like, it almost looks like a rock at first, but it's got really little arms. I would say it's got really stumpy legs that are almost like a part of its body, and you see it's got this huge mustache and like a bulbous nose, and it just seems to be like kind of waving its arms around, and you notice as it does, it seems to be almost controlling these little rocks.
Oh, neat. Well, I guess that solves one mystery, Breckett.
Yep, that is the vibe right there. That little guy.
Yep. What little guy? Hold on.
Breckett's just like, just you hang out here, and then he's like sneaking off, trying to like go around.
Yeah. Wow, the rock's back in the way.
If you would roll your examination, we'll see what else we can add about it. Ooh, guess what? That means you get to draw this guy.
It's doing so well.
Or Emily.
Okay.
Or Emily does.
Okay.
You know.
Very good. So let's see here. Bulbous nose, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Big, like, walrus mustache.
Like Breckett. Describe it to me.
His eyes are like kind of hard to see because of his mustache.
Oh.
But also, his eyebrows are really bushy as well, so it's hard to tell if like they're separate from the mustache until you get a really good look. Like, you have to really zoom in before you can see, hey, those are eyebrows and not like just one big mustache.
Fair enough. That all makes sense. Okay, 1 second here.
So it's almost like those dogs where they have the like bangs that go over their eyes.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Fair. Just adding some extra details.
Now that you've drawn that.
Okay. I'm almost done. Okay. This is a very chunky little rock.
Like you do.
Like you do, yep, indeed. Okay, here we go.
Love it.
Yep.
Yeah, so Breckett just like, while this little creature is doing its thing, he like goes over, sneaks up, and somehow manages to get really, really close, and then he just pokes it with a stick.
Breckett, don't hurt it.
I didn't poke it that hard.
This is not how we conduct scientific experiments.
That's where you're wrong.
Are you sure?
And this little creature doesn't seem to react.
Continues to play weirdly in the background.
Oh, of course. This little creature doesn't seem to react. It just keeps doing its thing. And like Breckett pokes it again, and it just like smacks the stick. He's like, okay, well, that settles that.
Scientific experiment complete.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that would be your discovery next. So if you want to roll.
Okay. 2.
All right, so we got to put in some work. We've got the 3 of clubs though.
Okay.
So 3 is by a gentle river, and clubs are plants or other immobile forms of life.
Okay. So again, we've had a bit of a trek, but we found some interesting stones that when we stepped on them, they started hovering and kind of carried us off to a riverbank, and then settled down beside the river. And as they settled down, there were a number of leafy plants of all the same kind that kind of had tiger stripes on them. And a breeze started coming through, and all of them started shivering, and it was quite enchanting.
Interesting. I'm gonna say, like, as we get to this point, I kind of picture, you talked about like the stones carrying us. I just picture like all of these little pebbles making kind of like a tensor's floating disc. So it's just like this disc-shaped thing out of all these little rocks.
Yep.
And so like, it's big enough, that Borealis, Breckett, and Steve can all fit on it.
The drone.
Yeah, the drone flies. It's fine. Yeah, kind of. And then it just like hits Breckett in the head as it's like moving around all wonky. Yeah, thank you, Artemis. The Ranger manual, which Breckett totally did not write, and he's totally not writing in right now as we're having a little picnic. Exactly, yeah, Breckett wrote it. But it doesn't say Breckett on it. Yeah, he's totally like writing in it, but it does say poke with a stick for science. That is in the rules.
Well, if it's in the book, who am I to argue with it?
Exactly. Breckett's totally not writing "Do not question the rules" on the first page.
Breckett says goes! Exclamation point!
No, I mean that would be too obvious. It just says "Don't question the rules."
That Breckett wrote.
You didn't. Like, you don't know that.
Semantics.
I mean, it doesn't say Breckett on there anywhere, so.
Fair.
But yeah, so like as we make our way, we see these plants that you mentioned. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, and the little creature seems to have like balled itself up and just rolled all the way over, and we see it goes over and like turns out its hands have sharp claws at the ends of the fingers, and it just like starts cutting down some of these plants and then making itself a little salad.
As one does.
Yeah.
Blunt.
Pulls good. Like out of its mustache, it pulls some like salad dressing out. It's a very large mustache.
It's got whole fridge in there. Yep.
Yeah. Bigger on the
prepared.
Inside.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
okay.
so like we're relaxing by this riverbank and watching this little creature have a little salad.
Well, this is pretty neat, Breckett. I've never seen
Yeah.
any creature pull salad dressing out of its mustache before, so admittedly a first for me.
Yeah. It's normally in the beard, but you know,
It's
mustache
a bit
is
extreme.
mustache is close enough, right?
Yeah. True.
All right, so we've still got some time. Let's draw some more cards.
Okay.
We got a 4. Okay. And we're gonna, I think, probably skip the between planets part this time, and we'll just move on to the planet. And if you want to roll for our next discovery,
4.
4. All right. We've got the Ace of Clubs.
Ooh.
So some kind of plant in a field taller than us, and 4 does something. I don't remember. Oh, we come upon suddenly, so we just land in the middle of the field.
Okay. So we leave the ship, and we're in this field. The atmosphere is charged. There are heavy purple clouds overhead that seem to be moving quite quickly, scudding through the sky. And the lighting is very bizarre. And in the middle of this field is a hauntingly beautiful fir tree with very strange branches that are spaced out, but very awkwardly kind of twisted. And it's hovering above the field. And its roots appear to actually be made out of lightning that's going down into the ground and sparking.
Man, I hope I get a 1 or a 2 on this one. Damn, it's a 3. Yeah, except, you know, we're totally not gonna, because Artemis said that we land in some aliens yelling at us that we can't park there. This is not gonna become the Montgomery Brawl of space, though, because we're not those people.
We are not. Oh my god.
Yeah, so like immediately as this alien's like, hey, you can't park here, Rory goes and parks somewhere else, leaving us in the field, you know, like you do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Breckett,
so,
I don't think you should poke this one with a stick. I'm just saying it's got electricity connected to it somehow.
I mean, stick doesn't conduct electricity, pretty sure, probably.
Only one way to find out.
So I got a 3. So a detail that I add about this, you mentioned that it's a fir tree, and quite literally, the leaves of it do seem to be some sort of like animal fur.
Interesting. Is it charged because of the electricity?
Maybe.
Like
maybe this is just like, maybe it just has really bad static and needs our help.
Perhaps.
Like maybe it needs to like discharge some of that static. Maybe it's just like dragged its feet, you know, too long on the carpet.
Then maybe we need to help it by poking it with a stick. I don't know.
Breckett's just like, hey, Reggie. Reggie runs over there. Totally gets like shocked, but he's made of diamonds, so it doesn't hurt him.
Fine.
Yeah.
He just looks while the electricity runs through him.
Yeah, exactly. And he like can suddenly just hover for a little bit. Like, oh god. Reggie's too powerful now. Now he can fly.
We'll never be able to stop him.
But
No,
like after a few seconds of that, the static seems to discharge and he's just like back to walking.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
But it does seem like, yeah, that is just part of how this tree functions.
Okay, just 1 second here. That's cool.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm still here. It's all good.
Okay. So I'm gonna move on to our next discovery. And I got a 3 again. And this time we've got the 2 of diamonds.
Okay.
So, diamonds are living beings. You're breaking stuff, says Artemis. And
it's what we do.
2 is Under the Light of the Moon. So, breaking stuff again.
Yep. Fixed it. All good.
Let's see. Living creature under the light of the moon. And we've got this weird tree. So, I'm going to say, as we're just like camping, we've got our little tents and whatnot set up. And because this is, space sci-fi stuff, they're not like current tents where it's like a fabric and they're super like movable. These are really, really firm, almost like metal.
Okay.
So even in the wind, they don't seem to move like a tent would.
Can we see through them so we can watch the stars at night?
Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
But like as we're just kind of in our separate tents, there is some kind of like scuttling noise outside, and so Breckett like sets up in his tent and he like pushes the button to make the side of it translucent, and I assume Borealis probably does something similar.
Yep.
And yeah, we see just a herd of these giant lizards just like moseying past us.
Reggie's like at the tent looking out.
Yeah, these are like enormous geckos.
Wow, so cool. Little tongues licking their eyes.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And it seems like their coloration, it's almost like we're looking at them under a black light.
Ooh, nice.
But they've also got little stripes of like an extremely pale blue, like so pale it's almost white.
That glows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Like you do.
As Borealis comments on how beautiful it is, you just see like they're licking each other's eyeballs and gross stuff like that.
Like one sneezes on the other one, it glows.
Of course. Yeah. Nature's beautiful.
So lovely.
If you want to, if you want to roll an examination.
Yep. 4.
So you get to add a detail.
Okay. And as they're running, the whole herd stops. They all look in one direction, and little glowing antennas come up out of their head, pop back down, and then they take off in that direction.
Interesting. Probably fine.
I'm sure it's fine. It must be how they communicate, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
That seems normal to you, right?
You say that and Breckett's already like back to sleep.
Snoring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I guess it's fine. I probably shouldn't say about this right now.
He fell asleep with his communicator open though, so like you just hear through our communicators him snoring super loud.
Meanwhile, I can't sleep because I'm still thinking about this strange phenomenon. And Reggie's in the tent, crunchily beside me.
Totally fine. Everything's fine.
Yep, everything's okay.
If you would roll for our next discovery, we'll see what else we find.
A 6.
6. All right. So this will be nighttime again. And hey, look at that. It's the King of Spades.
Yep.
So, see, we don't get a lot of kings. King is floating in the air. And yeah, we know what spades are at this point, since all but like 2 or 3 cards have been spades.
I might get you to remind me. Just
spades are natural phenomena.
Okay, great. Okay, so floating in the air, natural phenomenon. Right. So as the translucent sides of the tent are there, the herd actually comes back, but now it is airborne, with all of their antennae out, glowing. They seem to be following a bioluminescent pathway through the air. but it's hard to tell where it goes or where it's come from. Because it
Interesting.
only shows up just before they arrive and follows them. Yep.
Let's see. Breckett got a 4 examining. And so, yeah, I would say the detail that we notice is it's not so much bioluminescent as it is like almost like an electrical crackle. Almost as if these lizards are either generating, again, some sort of like electrical field that goes before them, or possibly that it's just a natural phenomenon that they follow.
Yep. Interesting.
And actually, I would say while
They
we're
certainly are strange, Breckett.
Yeah, you say that, and while we're observing, like, we do notice, since they're coming back towards us this time, that like the ones in the front, their tongues are shooting out and they're like grabbing little bits of this, whatever it is, electricity or something.
Space plankton.
Yeah, possibly. And so like we can see that it's almost like a wave of these geckos. So like the ones at front, they get a little bit, and then like other ones climb over them. So it's just like constantly rotating which one's in front.
That is really odd.
I mean,
I've never seen a living wave of animals like this before.
Oh no, there's lots of animal waves. That's pretty cool.
Are there? Are there animal tsunamis? Have you seen that?
We don't talk about it.
Was it the amoebas?
Breckett's already asleep.
More snoring.
Even though it's like 8 a.m. at this point, he's already asleep.
Intentionally ignoring Borealis now, making big snoring noises.
Yeah. Let's see. So we've got our last card here, which is the 8 of Diamonds. I got a 1, so we're gonna put in some work. 8 is something. Oh, 8 is on a glacier. So I'm gonna say we follow this wave of giant gecko things for a while, and they sort of wander off, like they disperse after a period of time, but we just continue on our way exploring and find ourselves on this large glacier. And I'm going to say that we find a group of trees, but we can hear them all talking.
Okay.
And so as we're kind of like observing from a distance, one of them slowly turns its head and like looks at us and then turns back, and then they all start to like walk off in different directions.
Fair enough. Well, that was also odd.
There's a lot of walking, talking trees. That's
herds of trees, huh?
I wouldn't call it a herd. It's like 5.
Okay, fair enough.
If you want to examine this further.
2. Uh-oh. Oh no. You know what this means?
So draw some tree herd.
Alrighty. Here we go. What kind of trees were they, Breckett?
I mean, it's hard to tell. As Liz had said in the chat, they do look similar to the Ents from Lord of the Rings, so not a lot of leaves or things on them. Maybe like some of them have like leaves sort of at the ends of their fingers.
Got it. Okay.
But it does seem like there's a variety. Like they do seem to be possibly different species of tree.
Okay, got it.
But
what
yeah,
they
move super. We're kind of far away, so it's hard to hear. But probably super important business,
Tree's tough, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And we can totally hear them because they're super loud. Breckett's just like trying to pretend like he knows what's going on.
Like, this is totally normal. Everything is okay.
For some reason, the babblefish never really seemed to translate very well, whatever the trees are saying.
Got it. That's also odd, though, really, because usually we can understand everything, but not today.
You'd be surprised. There's limits. They're sometimes just not very quick with picking stuff up.
Got it. Okay, I only managed 2 because this will take. But
I love how
Frankie
it looks like the
walked
one
away.
is like kicking the other one in the crotch.
That was accident. This is supposed to be actually walking away, and then I had to fit the other tree in. So these things happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
If it got in the way, that's that's just what happened.
Yeah, it's just like
I'll add some text to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like I said, probably just really important tree business. I don't know that it affects us too much. It is kind of weird that they met on this glacier, though.
Pardon me?
It is kind of weird that they met on this glacier, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's not a whole lot around here. How'd they know to come here?
Well, everything seems to have been kind of vibrationally and energetically charged in our. Maybe there's something about the spot. I don't know. Poke it with a stick to find out, Breckett. That's what I reckon. It's in the manual.
Yeah, some asshole wrote that. Breckett's just gonna hand you the stick. Be like, here.
Okay, I'll go do some scientific exploration on my own then. Poke
Just
the ground
maybe
a couple times.
Maybe just don't poke the trees, though. I don't think they would appreciate that.
I think they're moving too fast for me at this point, anyways.
There's definitely a couple of them still, and they're super slow.
Okay, I won't.
So what happens when you poke it?
Nothing. It's a surprisingly uneventful poke, and I learned nothing. Like, I think this stick method needs a little tweaking, Breckett.
I think you're just not doing it right. And
Okay.
Breckett just like takes the stick back and he just starts like walking back to the ship. Like, well, I think that's probably good for this planet.
Probably
like,
for today.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything else interesting here. Probably don't need to like look into the whole ant thing, the trees.
I bet it was just an ecological summit. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. The G5 of trees.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that was our last card, and I mean we're right at about an hour-ish.
Yep.
So I would say that's probably a pretty good place for us to call it.
Agreed.
Anything you want to mention before we head out?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Awesome. Is this week card game?
Yes, it is. Tuesday, the last
Yeah.
episode and card. Theoretically, unless we can talk about.
Wasn't on my announcements, Artemis.
Oh.
See how it is. You don't love us. Yeah, so come check out me and Alyssa and some other awesome people on Tuesday at I think 8:30 as well.
8:30 EST.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be our last game, but I mean Emily's already talked about doing a follow-up, so
Yep.
come watch us be sad and maybe die.
And the magic, mayhem, and chaos that will ensue.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I assume we might be rating something. I don't know. Artemis says yes. So stick around for the raid, and we'll figure out who that is. So bye.
Bye, everyone.